Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I think I'm going to open your eyes by the end of this video. This is going to be one of those that might open some people's eyes here at the end. I think it will. I had a conversation, and I'll tell you who it was with today at the end of this video, but I had a conversation with one of my fellow influencers, and I was in the middle of the conversation, and I was like, that makes way too much sense for me not to talk about this. So I'm going to give proper credit when I get there, and I'm going to show you kind of where this goes. All right. And look, I don't really know how I want to say that, but I'm going to just go. All right, here we go. All right. So let's start here. Here's where we want to start. We're about to cross $1 trillion. No, before I say anything else, here's what I want to tell you, and make sure those of you that have never listened to me, I want to make sure you guys understand just where I'm coming from. You're listening to a person who invested in XRP in 2013. And I discovered this in 2013, and I was mesmerized when I had invested in different things, different digital currencies, and then I ended up going down CoinMarketCap, and I found this one company, and something just seemed different about this one company, this Ripple company. It was sitting there right in front of my face, and I was like, this looks like a group of really smart people who are doing this. And none of these digital assets look this way. None of them look like this one. And it has kept me mesmerized since that time. And I started this channel in 2018. And I made, and I am not exaggerating, for a period of at least 6 months to a year, I made 3 videos, pretty much all on this one company and this one digital asset for almost probably 6 months to a year. Since that time, I've made 2 every day. And I'm here to tell you there's only one reason I've been able to stay as fixated on this one company. There's one reason and one reason only. And that's because it didn't look like just some company. As Naveen Gupta from Ripple said in the video I've shown you many times on this channel, this Ripple is not an ordinary company. We're either going to put a dent in the universe or we're going to go away. And they're not going away. I don't care about some lawsuit. I don't care what it is. But at the end of this video, I think we finally have, I think that this guy is on what this is really about. And I think that if it's not clear, and listen, everything I'm telling you is, look, everything that digital assets represents is mega. These are big risks. Higher the risk, higher the reward. I've said it 1,000 times on this channel. I'm comfortable with taking certain risks. Some of you shouldn't be comfortable. I don't know your situation. That's your business. I'm just telling you what I think and what I'm doing. So, and I'll tell you right now what I'm doing is I'm buying XRP. I'm not selling one XRP. I haven't sold any of my XRP, not going to sell any of my XRP. And I don't care if it's the XRP I have on Coinbase or the XRP I have on iTrustCapital or anywhere else that I store my XRP. Okay? Not happening. I will be adding to what I have. Period. Okay? I'll be adding other things too. Like every once in a while I add Stellar. I own a little bit of Bitcoin. These are things I've talked about before, even though Bitcoin for me is more of like a short to mid-term insurance policy than anything else. I don't see Bitcoin or proof of work Ethereum to be anything in the long term. Or let me take that back. They could be store of value in the long term. They could be allowed to stick around for that. Okay, maybe. Probably. A lot of billionaires behind it. Okay, now that you understand where I'm coming from, by the end of this video, you'll understand a big part of the reason that I'm where I am on this. Okay, so here we go. The first thing I want to show you is this. So last night, this big news was broken. The OCC put out some clarity, some regulatory clarity on what they had going on. Okay. And then I'm going to show you that in a second, but first I wanted to show you some of the reaction to it. Breaking, blind Bitcoin maxis continue to try and pivot all narratives to this is good for Bitcoin and then hide all the comments about how stable coins settle on Ethereum. Such a sad sight. The death of all religions comes when they begin to discourage education. Now this guy is right because let's go back. Let's look at CoinMarketCap. And I'm sorry if this is going to be a long video. I think it'll be worth it for you. Look at CoinMarketCap. When you hear the word stable coin, I have never, the whole time I've been in this, never heard stable coin mentioned in the same sentence as Bitcoin. It has nothing to do with it. I have with Ethereum because Ethereum's a smart contract platform. People have created stable coins that are on Ethereum proof of work. I'm assuming those will have to come off and somehow transition to Ethereum 2.0, but that's all up in the air. Tether is a stable coin, and I can't remember if it's built on Ethereum or not. Don't remember. I have always viewed these three digital assets right here as government experiments. Listen, take one look at Vitalik Buterin. The guy's wearing freaking unicorns on his shirt. Go watch a video of the guy clapping his hands. Nobody's building their financial system around this guy, people. Let's call a spade here. Nobody's building a financial system around a guy who is freaking wearing unicorn shirts and claps like something's not right. Not happening. They're going to build it around a group of people like what you see at Ripple. They're going to build it around people like that. Nobody's building their financial system around some guy that looks like a weirdo. Sorry. Didn't mean to say it that way. Don't take my word for it. Go watch the videos of the guy clapping his hand. It's weird. Something's not. And granted, the guy's a genius. Okay. I'm not saying the guy's not genius. He's a genius. Okay. But still, but take that out of it. Look at proof of work. Proof of work does not work. Ryan Zagone told us. Tether. Here's the reason that I'm saying that these are like tests, the testing ground. Is Tether. There's more. That right there. They had some litigation pending as well, but if you take a close look at that gets, I'll use the word interesting. That gets really interesting. Okay. Go look at it yourself. I'm not going to talk about it. Litecoin. This is a proof of work. All this is some guy. It looks like some guy made a photocopy of Bitcoin and had a few different amount of coins or whatever. I don't even think he owns it anymore. Again, these are not, your financial system is not going to be built around these proof of work. It's not going to be built around Litecoin. And it defies logic that these would be doing what they're doing, while this one gets targeted, the one that actually has people that you could see someone building a financial system around, okay, that are connected to everywhere. Now, keep going down. There's one other, and it is, I've just passed it, this one. Look at what Stellar's doing right now, because what's happening in conjunction with tanking XRP with this SEC lawsuit is Stellar is surging because all of a sudden, out of nowhere, right? Out of nowhere, all of a sudden, Stellar starts getting all this good press. Stellar's building a stable coin. They're going to be a part of Ukraine's blockchain infrastructure. And then all this stable coin news comes out. There are only two digital assets that you build besides Ethereum, which is proof of work, which doesn't work. There's only two in these top 11 or so where they have told you many, many times you can build stable coins on top of them. That is Stellar and XRP. And I believe that both of them are going to be used for those purposes. Okay. And I believe those two are the chosen ones, and they've always been the chosen ones. Okay. Now I'm sorry to get slowed down here, but I wanted to show you this too. You have to see this. Anthony Pompliano, in response to the OCC's issuance about stablecoins, his response is, the OCC just told U.S. banks that they must treat permissionless open source blockchains like Bitcoin and Ethereum the same way they treat SWIFT, ACH, and Fedwire. He actually believes that Bitcoin somehow is going to be involved in this. Not going to happen. I said, It was never Bitcoin. Too slow, not scalable, too expensive. Only the one fits the bill. Don't take my word for it. Barry has always known. This is a tweet from Barry Silbert, who has always been real quiet over the last 4 years about XRP. But in 2016, he said it. Bitcoin's digital gold store value, that's all it can be because it's inferior technology. Ripple XRP is Swift 2.0 and has always been Swift 2.0. Okay, now, the next thing you need to see. This, I just wanted to show you this. This is Greg Kidd from his podcast he put out yesterday. I thought this was an interesting little clip. I just wanted to play it for you, okay? Watch this.
In a correct way. And in the case of Ripple, if you go back and you look at all the original decks that we went out with, we were talking about it as a currency from day one. And I mean, that was always the aspiration and the intent. And really what we were trying to do was manage the currency like a central bank would manage a currency with responsibility. You don't want to debase the currency. And so.
All right. So there's that. Now, Synod sent me this. For those of you that want to go and ask Brian Brooks about what's going on with regulations, you should go and ask him. He was on, I think he already did this show today, so we'll start seeing video leak out about this. And just understand, Brian Brooks, I consider to be one of the good guys. But I think that some guys that look like bad guys are also good guys. I think that's the way this is being rolled out. I'll get more into that later. Now, so Brian Brooks was on this thing after he issued that legislation last night. Now, or not legislation, but I think it was just comments or whatever. Okay, now a little bit on this is from Stephen Bull Dieppe. This guy is an attorney and he's weighing in from Hogan & Hogan Law. He's weighing in on the Ripple lawsuit.
So from a non-cynical viewpoint, I could be cynical too if necessary, but this last move by Clayton was an attempt, from a non-cynical point of view, to set in motion the process by which our court system creates controlling authority and guidance in new and evolving areas of law, such as cryptocurrencies. Unfortunately, who suffers? The holders of XRP and Ripple itself, who in a sense are being used in order to create law and order for those that come after them. Now, don't cry too much though, Ripple. This is how our legal system works. And at the end of the day, this is a money issue and not a go to jail issue for anyone, probably. So you are in much better position than some of my clients. So
if you really wanted to put a threat over Ripple and get them to settle for a lot of money, wouldn't you put something criminal in there? Why not? If you really had a major personal vendetta against them, wouldn't you do that? Well, anyway, moving along. Okay, I just want to show you, I'm going to cover a couple of random pieces of news and then I'm going to get to the meat of what I wanted to talk about. The Project Sand Dollar. We are pleased to announce that the Sand Dollar website is live. This is the Bahamas Sand Dollar. It's their CBDC, and I guess it's live or they're testing it or something. Now, in this tweet, I said, enjoy the show. This is when Brian Brooks put his not legislation. I keep saying legislation. He put his comments out. And Tom Emmer had commented on it. The U.S. OCC has demonstrated tremendous leadership in government through the past several months under the leadership of Brian Brooks. Okay? Now, as I go forward from here, I want you to think about all these people because here's what you got to believe. All right? To be terrified about this lawsuit, here's what you have to believe. And it's not just me saying it, but Greg Kidd says it in the clip I'm going to show you in a minute. You have to believe that all of these people that have been on helping Ripple and been in these videos and different things I've been showing for over 2 years, you have to believe that Jay Clayton is just this rogue guy who just can't agree with any of these guys. He hangs out with them all the time. He's with them all the time on panels and this and that. I mean, Brad Garlinghouse has even been on a panel before he went up on a panel. They're at conferences together. They're everywhere together, but they just can't seem to agree. Jay Clayton is this rogue jackass that just nobody can get on the same page with. So Brian Brooks is right here, but as I go forward, I'm going to tell you who's been around and who's involved and where as we go. So you got Brian Brooks, And remember, Brian Brooks was with Coinbase. He's now the head of the OCC, the interim. All right. And I also find that interesting. Jay Clayton files a lawsuit, then leaves. Why is Brian Brooks still an interim? And why do they want it? Does somebody want him to be an interim where he can do all this and then just leave? Like Jay Clayton just left. Second thing, Tom Emmer congratulated him. Tom Emmer has not weighed in on the Ripple lawsuit at all, but we know that Tom Emmer is on the side of Ripple and believes it's not that XRP is not a security, and I can show you that. The OCC has demonstrated tremendous leadership in government through the past several months under the leadership of Brian Brooks, and Brian Brooks thanks him. Thank you, Tom Emmer. And then here's Tom. I said, enjoy the show, zero doubt. And I said, here's Tom Emmer. This is on a call with Brad Garlinghouse.
First off,
who's right here.
My position's very clear. XRP is not a security. All right. But even if you want to do this, you want to have this discussion, the SEC, my frustration, as you probably have heard very directly, you brought up in a very nice way. Maybe you should be doing this job and I should be doing that one because I'm not going to be so nice. Over 2 years is not only a problem, it is absolutely unacceptable. Because what this does is entrepreneurs like you and everybody else on this town hall, you start looking elsewhere. Money will go where it's easiest to flow. And the more the government puts in obstacles, and one of them is just inaction, the less opportunity we have to position the U.S. as the leader. And it's an obstacle to growth. So we're going to keep working. Really appreciate all your support. And together, we're going to keep educating these members of Congress. And as we're doing this and you guys are saying, I'm going to make a donation, forgive me, Perry Ann, because I know we are short on time. Again, do you know how powerful this is for some elected officials to look over and say, what's Emmer doing? He's getting what? He's getting, oh my goodness, campaign contributions. I need to learn more about what's going on with cryptocurrencies. It's just, it's human nature, and it's good. We need to push them.
Well, we want to help you in that push. So again, thank you for your leadership on this. I think it does have an impact.
All right. So throughout this whole Ripple and XRP, this security, this lawsuit and all, but neither Tom Emmer nor Perry Ann Boring, who's from the Chamber of Digital Commerce, have said a word. But we know, I mean, they're here on a conference with them. They were all on board then. They haven't said a word, neither one. Okay. So, but we know he thinks it's not a security. And then this is his tweet. Great news. Stable coins are a major innovation and stand to dramatically improve the digital assets we keep and the way we transact. And this is what Brian Brooks had put out. U.S. Treasury to allow blockchain stable coins for bank payments. The Office of the Comptroller of the Currency issued an interpretive letter that could help make crypto payments mainstream. Now, let me tell you what. In all of the conversations that I have read and covered on this channel over the course of the last 2 years, when you talk about crypto and payments, there is only one company that has been involved in that, and it is Ripple. There is only one, and it's Ripple. And so what we're supposed to believe is that this legislation comes, this interpretive letter, that's the correct thing. This interpretive letter comes out. And for over 2 years plus, I mean, more than that, for over 2 years plus, we've seen this one company involved in crypto that has been talking about payments with the federal government. But when the interpretive letter comes out, the one company that's left out in the cold is the one company that has been involved in this for over 2+ years. It's the one company that's been there. Ryan Zagone headed up the Faster Payments Task Force and all that. But when this comes out and they're talking about making crypto payments mainstream, that's all ignored. They're just talking about stable coins. Okay. It also reminds me of this. Many of you might remember this, and I should have pulled it, but I didn't. Here's the other thing. Does anybody remember that it was a document that came out of, I think it was Payments Canada, where they referred in a document to XLM and to XRP. Don't quote me, but I swear this is what it was. Somebody will show me today. XLM and XRP, and they referred to them as stable coins in that Canada document. It's the only place that I've seen those two digital assets referred to as stable coins. So let's look at what this is in brief. The OCC is an independent bureau of the U.S. Treasury. It's issued guidance stating that banks may use blockchains and stable coins to facilitate payments. The OCC has come under scrutiny from some legislators for its pro-crypto outlook. All right. So that's the gist of what it is. Pablo Graylet sent me this. Here's Jeremy Allaire from Circle. Now, here's the other thing you need to remember. For the 2 years that I've been covering Ripple, Stellar was quiet as a mouse. And I do mean as quiet as a mouse. Over the last 6 months, we all of a sudden, out of nowhere, started seeing Stellar popping up in conferences, popping up at the IMF. It had not been anybody but Ripple for the prior 2 years. It was just Stellar. You would see Stellar. I'll show you the lady here in a minute. Well, here she is. Her name is Danielle. What is her name? Danelle Dixon. Okay. That's her on a conference with Jeremy Allaire. Out of nowhere, she pops up and starts talking about, starts popping up in different places with Jeremy Allaire and at the IMF. All of a sudden, they were on stage in the last 6 months. Jeremy Allaire, almost like a play. Jeremy Allaire, one, breaking major news from the U.S. Treasury OCC, the largest U.S. banking regulator, U.S. OCC, with new guidance allowing U.S. banks to use public blockchains and dollar stablecoins as a settlement infrastructure in the U.S. financial system. And by the way, I think Brad Garlinghouse said that Ripple was a blockchain infrastructure company not too long ago. This is a huge win for crypto and stablecoins. The new interpretive letter establishes that the banks can treat public chains as infrastructure similar to SWIFT, ACH, Fedwire, and stablecoins like USDC as electronic store of value. The significance of this can't be understated. Decentralized, permissionless, open source, and internet-mediated software is literally becoming the foundation for not just the U.S. financial system, but for the global economy. And by the way, before I go on, remember, Circle is backed by Goldman Sachs. Sandy O'Connor just joined Ripple's board from JP Morgan. My father, the official father of the Digital Asset Investor channel, has always told me nothing will happen without Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan. Moving along. We are on a path towards all major economic activity being executed on chain. It is tremendous to see such forward-thinking support for the largest regulator of national banks in the United States. This paves the way for the use of leading digital digital currencies such as USDC as a mainstream payment medium of all forms of payment settlement, helps put the U.S. in a leadership position in embracing power of public blockchains beyond the payments and settlement. And unlike legacy settlement mediums, public chains combine transactions and compute, enable radically new modes of financial and commerce apps to be built. It also sets the stage for more regulated financial institutions to run blockchain nodes and even become validators. This is huge. This is a huge way to start 2021, the year that crypto and stable coins go mass market. I want to point out to you that in all the time I've been covering this, they've never referred to proof of work when they've never talked in terms of nodes and validators when it comes to proof of work. They talk about miners, but when you hear nodes and validators, that is freaking, write it down. I'm going to beat the table. That is freaking XRP and Stellar. When you hear nodes and validators, those are the words that are used with those two, not with the others. Okay. All right. Moving along. Watch this, but you need to all go watch this. Watch this. This was a response with JC Collins. Watch this by David Schwartz. It'll help you understand what is being implemented here. The OCC is describing the XRP stablecoin system. Stablecoins are created on the XRP ledger, but XRP is still the bridge between them. Also think Flare Finance. Okay. All right. And this is Jeremy Allaire right here. Banks will get in on digital dollar currency in a major way this year. I'm not going to play that. I just want to show you he's all excited about all this. And then here's this interaction between him and Danielle Dixon from Stellar. So proud, Circle Pay team this year. Tremendous momentum, Congratulations to you and your great team. Wishing you all more successes in 2020. And then she says, already starting year. And he says, thank you, Danielle Dixon, USDC for Stellar coming soon. So Stellar is going to help them send it fast. Okay. And by the way, one thing I was told, I've been told from a bunch of different directions for a long time, is that Stellar would be for the U.S. and that XRP would be a bridge for the world. Just put that feather in your cap. Okay. Now, this is what I showed you earlier. This is him and Danielle Dixon on a call. There she is. So obviously Circles is working on some things with Stellar. Okay. All right. Stuart XRP sends me this. This is a clip I just wanted you to see.
Time Ripple has been sued by the SEC. Coinbase has actually halted trades of XRP, and the government seems to be concerned about what XRP really is. Ripple saying it's a currency. The SEC seems to think it's a security. Not a good look for Ripple executives, or certainly a big headache. What do you make of this?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a headache for Ripple a little bit. And full disclosure, BitPay is a partner of Ripple, so we know them very well. But, SEC's been going after a lot of these companies and, getting settlements out of all of them. So we'll see if they want to do a long, drawn-out court case or do a quick settlement. We'll see. What is interesting is that the SEC, with the new presidential administration now, the SEC is going to have new executives coming in right now. So will these new executives that take over the SEC really want to do a long, drawn-out court case with Ripple, or they might not care and want to do a quick settlement, which in which case would be a lot easier for the whole industry, including Ripple itself?
Okay, so RizXRP sent me this. I thought this was an interesting tweet. Flare Fusion, FXRP equals stablecoin and trustless. FXRP, a programmable money, scalable, fast, deep liquidity. The first FBA-based asset to state connect into the Flare network, legal to use by banks. XRP security, Ethereum on steroids. Okay. Then Thinking Crypto, go give him a subscribe. Thinking Crypto did an interview with Greg Kidd that he released, I believe, yesterday. I've got a couple of clips I wanted to play for you from his interview. Here's the first.
Use idiots or both. And that, there was a famous saying that Ronald Reagan had about like the most terrifying words in the English language is, I'm from the government and I'm here to help. And so like the concept that the SEC is going to help us investors by giving us our 1.3 billion back while like destroying 10 to 20 billion dollars of value, like, right. Gee guys, thanks a lot. And if you read the primary mission of the SEC, the number one mission of the SEC is to look out for investors. And so like that kind of aid, like get me back like, $1.10, like that's not helping me. And like why you waited 7 years, like to do that and make that decision and still have not laid out the principles that would explain, well, how's this going to apply to Stellar or Filecoin or Brave or any of the other tokens out there, or why Vitalik and Ether got like off the hook, because they did a not-for-profit. Like the lack of principles, lack of rules of the game. It feels like, to me, like, I don't know who won the 2013 Super Bowl, but it feels like today's refs are going to go back and relook at the tapes and say, that call wasn't right. We're going to like reward and assign a new victor for like the Super Bowl in 2013. And so like, I don't understand why this is happening in 2020, especially late, and especially after the run up to like the launch of the Flare network and the Spark token. If you were going to be upset about some new token coming out, like kind of like at the timing that they had, like when they went after Kik or Telegram, that would be the time to do it. Like not after the fact, like what? Yes. You busy, like with Thanksgiving dinner, like you just didn't get around to doing like the filing until like, the day before you're going to resign. I mean, like what the hell is that about? That's just not how I've ever seen. I mean, even regulators in sort of tin pot countries, have a little bit more class to pull something like that, on the way out, way out the door.
He's right. There's not one thing about it that makes any sense. And that's why my antennas are going up. Okay. Now listen to what he says here.
Get the broker-dealer licenses.
Yeah, but it's complicated. First of all, that's a split decision. Virtually every other regulator in the world, no one else has, through their independent process, come to the same conclusion as Jay Clayton at the SEC.
That's what I wanted you to hear right there. No one else. What we have to accept in order to accept everything at face value that we're seeing right now, you have to accept that Jay Clayton, who talks to, communicates with, is around all of these people, many people that are more powerful than he is, that everybody's on the same page except for this one guy. And remember, this guy was a Goldman Sachs guy, just like half of them in this whole story. You have to accept. Now, I'm 46 years old now, folks. That doesn't make any sense in my world. When I was growing up in the building and developing business, it was always very clear. There's politics involved even at that level. Pulling a home building permit or trying to develop a subdivision. There are all kinds of people you've got to go through, and it's that's not normal when I'll tell you what is normal is when somebody is in somebody's pocket, but that's not what I'm saying here. There's too many people that are on the same page for this one guy to not be on the same page is what I'm saying. There's way too many people that are on the same page, but I'm just getting started. I decided to go and look at Jay Clayton's public calendar. You can go and look it up. Just type in Jay Clayton public calendar 2020 or whatever. Jay Clayton public calendar. I just spent some time going through Jay Clayton's public calendar for 2020. There are two people that he spoke with more than anyone, Brian Brooks and Heath Tarbert of the CFTC. The idea that these three are on separate pages is preposterous, just like this whole thing. And that's what my gut is screaming to me every day, folks. And I'm telling you, I'm not buying it. Okay? What? Okay, now let's go. I'm not done yet. Okay, I'm not just telling you, though, I smell something fishy. So, who are we seeing all of the clarity coming from? Brian Brooks. Okay, so what you've got to believe here is that Brian Brooks is gung-ho, giving us clarity. He's giving us all this great positive stuff. Heath Tarbert's saying nothing, and Jay Clayton is anti the whole thing. He just hates it all, and he's out of here. Screw you guys. I don't believe that narrative. I do not. That doesn't make sense. When it doesn't make sense, my antennas go up. Now, what does Heath Tarbert do at the CFTC? The Commodity Futures Trading Commission, CFTC, is an independent agency of the U.S. government created in 1974 that regulates the U.S. derivatives markets, which includes future swaps, certain kinds of options, prohibits fraudulent conduct in the trading of future swaps and other derivatives. He's the one guy we haven't heard jack squat from. Now, I draw your attention to who put me on this path, which is Brad Combs. I was on the phone with him this morning. I had watched a little bit of this video of his, and I had said some ding, ding, ding started going off. And I want you to listen. And by the way, if you don't, Brad Combs has the Digital Perspectives channel. Go give him a subscribe. He deserves it because he deserves the credit for this whole line of thinking right here. So here we go. Listen to what he says right here.
Looking at this comment here, it does say certain stable.
Hold on, my thing is acting up on me. 1 second. Okay, had a little microphone malfunction. Okay, here's Brad Combs.
And there you have it. Now, looking at this comment here, it does say certain stable coins may be securities. Okay?
Certain stable coins may be securities. And I'm going to stop here for 1 second. The whole narrative, and it's come from a lot of different places. Every time we talk about XRP as a security, it's always a frightening thing. It's always this terrible thing, and we're all terrified of it. Okay. What he's getting at here is, and I'll let you listen a little bit more. What if XRP was going to be called a special or a new kind of security? We think of a security in terms of being secured by equity in Ripple. Okay. That's all that anybody's really ever thought about it. But what if it was going to be a security, but secured by commodities? Okay. Keep listening.
A bank's issuance of a stablecoin must comply with all applicable securities laws and regulations. Staff of Securities and Exchange Commission, the Securities Exchange Commission, has issued a statement encouraging issuers of stablecoins of the type described in IL 1172 to contact the staff with any questions they may have to help with ensure that such stablecoins are structured, marketed, operated in compliance with federal securities laws. So we'll get into that probably in a...
Okay, go back. CFTC is in charge of regulating derivatives. So what we're getting at here as we go forward is that, and here's another document I'm going to show you. This is from, here's the big what if here, folks. I don't want to beat around the bush too much. Here's the big what if. What if XRP is going to be declared a stable coin security, like a derivative? And it's going to be secured by commodities. And that would, just as an FYI, now this is all pontificating here, folks, by the way. This is just throwing out some ideas here. Ideas that make sense to me. What if this all would involve a price set? Okay, so moving along. This is a document that came out, I think, a week or two ago. The President's Working Group, and Brad Combs gave me this too, or told me about this too. President's Working Group on Financial Markets Statement on Key Regulatory and Supervisory Issues Relevant to Certain Stable Coins. Page 2. Let's see, I think it was page 2. Depending on its design and other factors, a stable coin may constitute a security, a commodity, or derivative subject to the U.S. federal securities, commodity, and or derivatives laws. If so, the federal securities laws and or Commodity Exchange Act would govern the stable coin itself. Transactions in and or participants involved in the stable coin arrangement. Whether a stable coin is a security, commodity, or derivative will depend on the relevant facts and circumstances. Does anybody remember how Brad Garlinghouse kept on tweeting over and over? I bet he tweeted 3 or 4 times about, I think it was the Commodity Exchange Act. He kept saying that we need to be something like this. I think it was this exact act, but it was some kind of commodity exchange something. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I remember he kept talking about it over and over and over. Now, this is from Esoteric XRP. Remember these people? I keep telling you, they were on crypto Twitter or Steam It, and they just keep disappearing over the years. Esoteric XRP tweeted this out. I've shown it several times on this channel. Kendra Hill revealed a few things. She was one of the people that disappeared. In 2018, XRP and XLM were the chosen ones. Cross-border payments was only a test. The $100+ trillion derivatives market is the real target. A derivative is a financial security with a value that is reliant upon or derived from an underlying asset or group of assets, a benchmark. The most common underlying assets for derivatives are stocks, bonds, commodities, currencies, interest rates, market indexes. Has anybody noticed how there's one digital asset exchange that has just been given a bank charter who has not said one word about delisting XRP, to my knowledge? They haven't said anything about getting XRP off of their platform. Why? Watch this. This is from XRP Yo-Yo.
All the rent through your digital tokens or tokenization. So fintech and proptech, currently the two largest markets which we are entering into the tokenization. So all the derivatives, all the real estate would be tokenized, and it's like
all the derivatives, all the real estate would be tokenized, and it's like a 700
trillion USD per year. And they will definitely be digitized by using such technologies as universal as through CBDC, through stablecoins,
CBDC, stablecoins,
square meters, all other assets. Might be gold, it might be.
Let's listen to that again. Got to hear that one more time.
All the derivatives, all the real estate would be tokenized, and it's like a 700 trillion USD per year. And they will definitely be digitized by using such technologies as universal as through CBDC, through stablecoins, square meters.
I think I'll finish up with this.
Some people have heard me say this before, but I'll throw it out to the audience. What is Interledger's total addressable market size? All the money.
I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family that we have always been talking about all the money here. And Ripple and XRP have always made sense and still make sense. And you're not putting this genie back in the bottle, and that is my opinion. And I will continue to hold and to add to my stacks. Thank you for listening.